Now, my next guest is a competitive sprinter who is also living with type 1 diabetes. She almost died last year while on a track due to a diabetic hypo. That's what happened when your blood glucose levels drops too low. She is now recovering and is raising awareness of the symptoms and helping others who suffer to manage the condition. Well, Melanie Stevenson joins me now. Thank you very much, Melanie, for coming in to speak to us. Now, there are two main types of diabetes, type 1, which is the one that you have, and type 2. But yours is not very common.
No, of the millions of people in the UK that have diabetes, only actually about 10% have type 1, which is where your pancreas stops producing any insulin whatsoever. So you either need to have injections or an insulin pump to replace that insulin that your body can't produce.
Now, away from the track, you manage diabetes support group online. So from speaking to people, what are the challenges that they are facing living with the condition?
There are an awful lot of challenges with type 1 diabetes because we do have to take a lot of medication. So access to technology, for example, is really important. I've been using the Dario smart meter, for example, to manage my blood glucose level checks, which I do up to about 6 or 7 times a day, which is incredibly important in managing diabetes because you need to know what's going on with your blood glucose levels so that you can take the right insulin. And the more that the technology can work together, then the more information that you've got. So if your food, your exercise can all be managed by one kind of tool, it's incredibly helpful, and people appreciate that.
So it's crucial to keep a close eye because, I mean, looking at the figures, NHS figures show that 3.9 million people are living with diabetes in the UK, and they say that that figure could rise to 5 million in the UK by 2025. So that's quite a staggering number, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a frightening statistic, but I mean, you can live a really fulfilled lifestyle with type 1 or type 2 diabetes. The right food, the right exercise can help the condition so much, which is exactly what I found with my sport.
Exactly, and in talking about the right food and the right sort of exercise, you are studying, training, you're a very busy woman to be a dietitian. So tell us what led you onto that path.
Well, basically, I've learned an awful lot in the last decade doing international level sport with type 1, and I wanted to be able to pass on that knowledge to other people with the condition because I've learned so much that I just think, oh, if life could be a little bit easier for them to manage their sport and the diabetes, then yeah, I'm going to help them out and do that.
So what would you like to say with somebody with your condition, so the rare type 1 or type 2 also? What would you say to them? What advice would you have?
I think the first thing that I would say is that it's going to be okay, because when you're first diagnosed with either kind of diabetes, it's quite a frightening time because your lifestyle changes, because your diet changes, you're going to be on medication. But I think you just kind of need to take a step back and kind of look at all of the resources that are out there from your healthcare team. I also write a blog about diabetes, and people we've got a great community, the diabetes community, and the way that people engage with it and ask questions and help each other, I think helps a lot.
And it's interesting what you're saying about you can lead a fulfilled life and it doesn't have to hold you back, because you are very busy. You're training 6 times a week. I'm not going to say how much exercise I do. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about you. So you're training 6 times a week. You also won the YDRS Sports Personality of the Year. That was last year, and that of course stands for Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. So you're very busy. Tell us about your schedule and how you manage to keep all of this up.
It is incredibly busy, but I enjoy it. I think that's the secret. And I've got incredible technology, like my Dario smart meter, like my insulin pump, that lets me get on with day-to-day life. My diabetes is kind of managed in the background. It's not taking over or anything like that. And as long as you enjoy it, why not?
Brilliant. I like that. Managed in the background is not taking over. And I can certainly see that. Thank you so much, Melanie, for coming in to speak to us.